So about a year ago I was sent a brick of Fomapan 200 which I made a vlog on, and since I love the film, and since then I didn't get any more Fomapan 200. I was shooting all my other regular films, and it was only the other week I thought to myself, I'm going to grab some Fomapan 200 again and blitz the whole shit out of it, you know. So I bought a 100-foot roll of Fomapan 200 so I can bulk load, making it cheaper for myself. And for those of you that are not familiar with Fomapan films, whether you're new to photography or whether you've been shooting film for a long time and been sitting under a rock, you haven't heard of Fomapan. Fomapan is like a budget film choice for us film shooters. They're a big factory out in the Czech Republic, and they just keep punching out films. 100 speed Fomapan, 200 creative I think it is called. And a 400 film as well as a couple of other funky films, an ortho film and some retro soft pan that they've got. But the most popular is 100, 200 and the 400. So the reason that I bought a 100-foot of this Fomapan 200 is last time I only had a brick of it to play with. This time I bought the 100-foot tin. That means I can load as much as I like and shoot it when I like and get used to a certain combination, which is going to be D23. I make my own D23, which is really easy and a good developer to use. So I'm going to try and get the combo of Foma 200 and D23 fine-tuned. And if I don't like it at the end of the tin, then that's fair enough. But if I do, it's a good cheap option for me to shoot film. You can get Fomapan 100 for about £5 a roll, which ain't too bad, even less, and the 400 as well, and the 200. So today I've come up to this beautiful cornfield behind me, which is not really at fully grown yet, but I want to try and get some nice close-up reevy shots and some creative stuff with the cornfield down there. The wind's blowing a little bit, so I'm expecting hopefully a little tiny bit of motion blur if I can pull the shutter speed or slow the shutter speed down slightly, maybe 1/15, 1/30, something like that, compensate with the aperture, and also get some real shallow depth of field, because with this lens I've got an option of 1.4 and also f2, so I'll be playing around with those two shallow depth of fields and seeing what we can get in this field. So here I am just about to walk into the cornfield. I wasn't intentionally going to trespass and go into this cornfield, so I stood outside and a big Range Rover started coming down the lane from the owner's house, the farmer's house, and I started to pretend to take pictures, trying to not be too inconspicuous. So I was pretending I didn't take any pictures, and he stopped, and I thought, oh, here we go, he's going to say something. What a lovely guy. He said, mate, you can go wherever you like and take your pictures. So he's given me carte blanche on anything that I want to take pictures of. He's even said I can go down to his house. It's a lovely big lake and stuff. What a nice bloke, eh? So I'm really happy, because that means I can walk around this cornfield to my heart's content and take pictures. So here's a question for you guys. Would you take this shot behind me? I'm up higher, so everything's obviously lower. And it looks nice there with the cornfield, the wires going right over. The field changes at the back there, that's a wheat field. But those little trees in the background are really putting me off. Can you see it? Okay, so I took the photograph. Let us know if that's something that floats your boat, because to me personally, I don't like the trees in the background. That way's much better because there's no trees, it's just a hill and it goes off into the horizon. But you can see I need a ladder or something. If I had a ladder, I could get up higher. But I ain't got a ladder. So the negs haven't come out as nice as I thought. Nothing wrong with the development side of things. They just look a little bit flat, if I can be honest. I know that I pulled the film as such. I shot this at 100. The details there, nice tonality it seems like inside the negatives, but for the eagle eyes of most of you, you would have noticed on the scans that I was showing you, there was some scratches along the film base. Now, I know that Fomapan is pretty prone, the emulsion is pretty soft, so it's quite prone to scratching if you're not careful. And in like one of my other videos a few weeks back when I mentioned about, you know, top mistakes that can happen when you're shooting film, one of them was scratches. I've got scratches on this film, so now I need to go back and see where those scratches come from. Did it come from the canister itself or the cassette? Did it come from the film holder when I was scanning the film? I don't know, so I'm going to have to go back and see what happens for future. But I've chosen a negative I want to try and make a print of. And because that farmer was so nice to me, just got to be very careful when I just give these a little wipe. The farmer was so nice to me, I'm going to make a print for him. So I've got two choices. I can either go for one with the sky in, which is really going to show the scratches if they're that bad. And I've got another choice of a close-up of his corn. So let's see what happens. I'm going to choose first of all one of the shots with the poles in, the electric poles and the lines going across the field. But I'm not too sure how it's going to look on paper because of those scratches. If it's that bad and obvious, then I'll ditch it and I'll go to one of the close-up shots. And if that's bad, I'll just ditch the whole project and go back and do it again. And what's the grain like on this film? Well, even in that D23, it's very fine grain, very fine indeed. So this is unusual for me to be struggling in the darkroom with my negatives. This was my first print that I tried to make and it was just too light up here, so I had to change that. But nothing, a little tiny bit of burning up in the top there. Worked out nice for me. So I've got this one here, which is one of those photographs that I took, but man, I've got those scratches going on this film, and I've also got a couple of imperfections I've noticed on the emulsion, which wasn't me, wasn't bad handling. It seems to be on the emulsion itself, but you can see those scratches there. So, you know, this print is just dead in the water, you know, it's rubbish. Which is a shame. It's a nice photograph, you know, but oh well, it is what it is. I can always go back and do it again. So I thought, let's have a go at one of the close-ups that I took. Thought we'll see what happens there. And that's one of the close-ups. Again, you can see the scratches. This time you can see the imperfections on this film. One little tiny things going on. These little tiny things here. I've got these all over the neg. You know, I don't know what this is. But that's one of the other photographs I've taken. Not particularly nice. That's not nice either, you know. That's shit too. The other day I was out shooting the Fomapan again, same developer D23, this time shot at 100 but this time 7 minutes. All the other stuff I've been doing was 6 minutes in the development. This was a bookshop outside. I kind of got drawn to this. Let's put it over a bit for you so you can see it better. Oh blimey, who'd ever make a YouTube channel in a darkroom at the same time? So this is another roll of Fomapan 200 that I shot a couple of days ago. This is a bookshop. I just kind of got drawn into this sign with the reflection in the window there, this old window with this old bookshop, and I kind of like the composition that I took, and I like the negative. So I made a print of it, and that one's come out quite nice. A little bit blown out in the highlights. This was a contrast zero filter, trying to work out, you know, trying to get some dynamic range, if you like, into this print. But I was happy with all this. But this needed a little bit more burning in. But hey ho, it is still, it's come out nice. It's a nice negative and it's come out all right. And again, this is on the same day. So I took a photograph of this sandwich and baguette shop. There's someone outside there scoffing a roll. You can see this building here has got some highlights going on. and I had to do a little bit of dodging over this side because the more I burned in, the more time on the enlarger, the more this was getting dark. I think this is, if I remember, this is a red shop canopy. So the red seemed to be a little bit darker on this film from what I remember. But it's kind of okay, but again I'm struggling with the dynamic range between the highlights and the darker areas of the print, which I said I had to dodge this side. And you can see the white of the sky is pretty much the same as the inertia of the paper. This was with a NIkon FM3A using the metering system inside, so you know they're good meters. I shot this at 100 again. Maybe I should have shot it at 200. So this time round with the Fomapan 200, I weren't too happy with the results. You know, that was completely rubbish. That one there, it's just flat, lifeless. And this one here, obviously, again, it's just a bit dull. I tried in the darkroom to do the best I could, but the scratches was just really getting on my nerves, so that's shit as well. But the ones in the high street, the bookshop and also the baguette shop, they came out okay. Just one little tiny imperfection I found on the baguette shop negative, but everything was okay on the bookshop negative. So the last time I had a brick of that Fomapan 200, I'll put a link in the description of that video. I had some nice results. This time around I bought the 100-foot tin. The first few rolls that I'd shot, different things, I'll show you a couple of quick images now. They came out okay. I didn't come in the darkroom with those, but they came out looking quite nice after they were scanned. But this time round, for some reason, today and yesterday, I've had a little bit of trouble, especially with the scratches today up at the cornfield. I was a little bit despondent with that, to be honest with you. Normally, things don't bother me, you know, with darkroom printing and film photography. It is what it is, you know, you take your chances, but those scratches, who wants scratches on their prints? So I'll have to try and find out where those scratches come from. But I know that Fomapan is quite a soft emulsion and prone to scratching if you're bad handling an eggs, or there's a little bit of grit somewhere along the way in your process. Have I done the right thing with developing this stuff in D23? I think maybe I have. I might start trying some 510 Pyro and seeing what results I get with the Fomapan 200 and 510 Pyro there, just to see if that can tame the highlights a little bit and pull a little bit more better dynamic range out of it, so it's easier for me to make prints in the darkroom. But I guess also when I'm shooting the Fomapan 200 in future, I have to be careful with that dynamic range. From what I've seen, I've got bright highlights going on and dark shadows, and it's hard for me to balance the two. Let me know in the comments if any of you guys are shooting Fomapan 200 and if you're having the same problem. I don't know, only time will tell. Different developers, different techniques. It's just going to take a bit of time for me to try and tune into this Fomapan 200 if I really get on with it and really like it. So I've got about another 60 feet of that stuff left to shoot. Wish me luck, guys. I'll catch you next time. And the trouble with these walkaway shots is I have to come back and get the camera. But I guess sometimes it looks quite cool on video, does it? I don't know, let me know.